Hey guys, it's Chloe. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. In today's video, as you can see, I have two trucks behind me here. Specifically, they are both third generation Toyota Tacomas and they both have 5-foot beds. But what's different about them, amongst a couple other things, is that they right now have very different tonneau covers on them. The silver truck here on my right has a Trail FX soft folding tonneau cover, which at the time of me filming this video, MSRP is for $344. And on my left over here on this white Tacoma, we've got the backflip MX4 tri-folding hardtop, which MSRP is for $1,179.88. In this video, I'm going to be talking about and comparing and contrasting the differences you get with a budget versus a premium truck bed cover, because a lot of people that have trucks are really interested in getting these tonneau covers. Now, obviously, just by looking at these two covers side by side, it's pretty easy to tell which one is actually better. The MX4 is more durable, theft deterrent, easier to use, and in my opinion, I would argue that it looks better. However, that's not what this video is going to be about. I want to go into the value proposition between having a budget tonneau cover and a more expensive one. Can you get away by spending less on a truck bed cover, or do you really need to spend more to get the most out of it? Hopefully this video will help if you are looking into tonneau covers for your truck bed. Before we get more into the tonneau covers, I first just wanted to give a huge thank you to today's video sponsor, Techron. You guys, Techron is one of the biggest supporters of the ChloeKuoTaco channel, which is very much appreciated. And if you guys don't know what Techron is, basically it's a fuel additive, and specifically I use their complete fuel system cleaner to clean, protect, and restore my fuel system in my trucks. But what I really wanted to talk about today is they have launched a contest for the month of May where you can win $500. So if you like winning money, listen up. Techron is providing the opportunity for fans to share their favorite vehicle story, essentially their pride and joy, on a larger level for the chance to be the next star of the next Techron lifestyle video. You can share your story about your favorite ride by using the entry form, which I'll have linked down in the description below, before May 31st. There will be 5 final contestants selected in June, and Techron fans will get to vote on those 5 contestants on Techron's Facebook page in June. One lucky winner will get their story shared in a video all about them and their pride and joy, plus that $500 I was talking about and a bunch of Techron goodies. And 4 runner-ups will win Techron swag as well as Techron fuel additives to keep their ride running clean. So if you're interested in entering, definitely check out that link in the description box down below. Thanks again to Techron for sponsoring today's video. Now let's talk about tonneau covers. Let's start out with the cheaper tonneau cover, the $344 one. Now, both of these covers are tri-folds, but this one is a soft one, meaning that it has this like metal tube framing and then vinyl stretched over that. The only way you can actually flip open this tonneau cover is if you have your tailgate open like mine is right now. You basically just undo these 2 clamps and fold it back. It has straps that buckle together to hold the cover back if you want to have it open. Otherwise, you can't really drive with just like a third of it open, or basically one flip. So it has to be either all the way closed or 2/3 of the way open. Also, once it's 2/3 of the way open, you can't get any more open access to your bed unless you completely remove the cover. In terms of installing this budget tonneau cover, it's actually pretty easy. Basically, you just get 4 clamps plus the tonneau cover itself. You install the metal clamps on your factory bed rails, so there's no drilling involved. You don't even have to remove your bed rails to do it. You just have to remove these plastic end pieces in order to slide the metal clamps in. The clamps on the tonneau cover basically attach to these brackets, and then boom, it's installed. So overall, the install is super simple, but I will say, in order for it to be watertight, or at least as close to watertight as possible, I did have to buy an additional kit, which were basically these 2 foam square stickers. You put these near the edges of your truck bed, so that's something optional, but honestly, I recommend it because with the Tacomas, water easily slips through this area, and these foam pieces really help out with that. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering, because I was wondering this when I first bought this soft tonneau cover, how well does it repel water? I will say that I drove with this exact cover on this exact truck when I had it packed full to the brim in a crazy storm through Oklahoma and Arkansas. I'm from California, so I'm not used to big rainstorms, but that was a huge rainstorm. I was worried about my stuff getting wet in the back, but honestly, I just couldn't get out and check until the storm finished. I was actually kind of surprised that nothing got wet. When I opened the tonneau cover, I was pretty surprised that there wasn't a single drop of water on any of my stuff. I'll say that I've heard mixed things from other people who have soft tonneau covers that are pretty much the exact same as the one I have over here. Even though they've installed those foam stickers to prevent water from coming in, somehow water is able to find its way in. But this particular tonneau cover has been good to me in terms of not getting my stuff wet. Speaking of water, another thing about having a vinyl material stretched over a frame like this is that it can easily collect a lot of water, causing that material to sag in the middle. Now, it's good that the engineers who designed this thing designed it with kind of this bow in the frame, as you can see in the middle. This bowed frame prevents that water buildup, so if you ever see a soft cover kind of like this one but without the bend in the middle of the frame, I would stay away from it because you can have water buildup and that be an issue. Okay, so for $344, I would say that this tonneau cover is pretty cheap considering the average price of truck bed covers on the market today. It's easy to install, easy to use, works as advertised as far as I can tell. However, on the flip side, and as you can kind of see by the condition of my cover, it weathers easily. You also obviously can't put that much weight on it. Like, I wouldn't feel very comfortable myself standing on this tonneau cover because, again, it's that vinyl material. Also, security-wise, it honestly isn't the safest because while it's technically locked when your tailgate is up and locked, someone can easily cut through that vinyl material. And then kind of the last negative thing I would say about this budget tonneau cover is that, in my opinion, it looks okay, but it doesn't look great. It doesn't quite look like it came straight from the factory. Other people may have their opinions, but I personally think this just looks like a $344 tonneau cover. Before I move on and talk about the more premium tonneau cover, I just wanted to say that after seeing a lot of people's trucks with these soft covers from different companies, I have noticed that a lot of them are really similar, to the point where the clamps are exactly the same. Like, I'm pretty sure they must have come out of the same plastic injection mold. Basically, like, the brackets are all the same, the tag is even in the same place, it just has like a different company name on it. I just think a lot of these soft tonneau covers actually come from the same factory because they are so similar. It's just something I suspected and I personally noticed. This brand I have on my truck, this particular one, Trail FX, was good, but if you find another soft cover that looks the exact same, I wouldn't be too surprised if this soft cover and that one came from the same factory. Moving on to this tonneau cover, you can already see that this one is quite an upgrade from the previous one I just talked about, although it is over $1,100. This specific one from Backflip is made mostly from aluminum. That is what the top panels are made out of. But over that, there's this textured coating on top, and it's also pretty low profile compared to the other cover. Like the last one, the only way to open this tonneau cover is by opening your tailgate, but instead of pulling both sides or taking out clamps from both sides, all you have to do is pull the cable from one of the sides in order to start folding it back. It folds back 3 times. It also has a buckle system for holding it 2/3 of the way open, but with this cover, you can also fold it all the way against the cab and hold it open up with the prop rod, so you can pretty much have a fully open bed without removing the cover. The installation of this cover is not hard, but it is slightly more involved than the last one. Basically, the tonneau cover mounts to its own rail system, so you get these extra rails in the kit, and to install them you have to lower your factory bed rails using the provided clamps. And just like the last cover, this one also involves no drilling into your bed whatsoever, so that makes the install pretty straightforward. Now, in terms of preventing water from getting into the bed, Backflip has done a lot to prevent this. So first off, there are these nice weather seals that sit flush with the cover. They are very tight and they do a good job at keeping water out. The extra rails that are provided in the kit are also designed for water drainage. Now, I will say I haven't driven this truck with this tonneau cover through really heavy rain like I did with my last one, but I have taken this through a car wash and there's been no water leakage whatsoever, which is what you would expect with the price point of this cover. Something else about this bed cover is that because the top is made of metal, you can actually put up to 400 pounds of evenly distributed weight on top of the cover, which is really nice. So one person can comfortably stand on this and maybe even 2 people. Also, the fact that this cover is not made out of vinyl, it is much harder for thieves to just cut into. And I think also the flush appearance of this specific one makes it really hard for anyone to wedge their fingers underneath there and try to grab the tonneau cover, lift it up, and take out your stuff. I was a little bit concerned about how hot this tonneau cover would get to the touch because it's metal, but whatever coating that Backflip puts on top, it doesn't get too hot. So taking this truck out in the desert in the summer, even though it's really hot, the top doesn't get too hot. From a user standpoint, it is just a very sturdy cover, nice to use. I think it looks clean, almost like it could have come from the factory maybe. And overall, it's just a nice piece. From what I can tell with a truck bed cover and from my own experience, this one really has no flaws, which is good because it's over 3 times the price of the other budget truck bed cover. Okay, so getting back to one of the original questions I asked early on in this video, which of these tonneau covers has a better value proposition? Before I do that, I think I want to talk about the reasons I purchased each of these tonneau covers, because at the time of purchasing, I had different use cases for each. So for this soft cover over here, which now I've had for over 2 years, basically I wanted dry storage for stuff in my truck bed. I was doing a lot of moving during that time. I didn't want my stuff to get wet. I didn't want my stuff to get stolen. I was also preparing for a cross-country trip, which I wanted a cover for, but I knew that after I had moved and kind of permanently settled after college, I didn't really have a need for a tonneau cover. Frankly, I wanted something cheap, and I wanted something that I could easily put on when I needed and take off when I didn't need it anymore, and this Trail FX tonneau cover fit those needs. It was really a budget tonneau cover, and it was even less than what it is MSRP today by I think about $100, because it was 2 years ago when things weren't so crazy. But basically, if you were kind of like me at that time and you were looking for something that you might not have forever on your truck, or maybe you're leasing your truck and you don't need a tonneau cover forever, you're not carrying anything super valuable, since again, it's a lot easier to cut through vinyl than it is through metal over here, a budget one like this one that has a soft top might be right for you. For this truck, however, I was looking for a bed cover that offered more security. It was going to be more theft deterrent because there are tools in the back of this truck. There's an off-road jack, which is pretty valuable and pretty expensive. And there's just a lot of items that are probably eye candy for thieves. And I also thought it would be interesting to see what having a more premium truck bed cover would be like compared to a budget one, which is what I was used to. Like I said earlier, from a user standpoint, standpoint, this one is a lot nicer, it looks a lot better too, and it's much better constructed. Something I like about this MX4 that the soft trifold Trail FX cover doesn't have is each sectional is actually locked until you pull the cables. For the budget tonneau cover, you have to remove both clamps on each side in order to flip the tonneau cover, and for the MX4, you only had to pull the cable on one of the sides to start folding it. And then of course, with the MX4, you can open it up a lot more. As you guys saw earlier, I was able to push it all the way back to the cab. Okay, so with all of that being said, if you're looking to get a truck bed cover, I would start to think if you're going to use your truck bed a lot. How often are you gonna load and unload things? How long are you gonna keep the truck? All of these things will make a huge difference in your decision, because if you're not going to keep your truck for a long time, or you don't really use your truck bed, you might as well just get a budget tonneau cover for the times that you actually need it. It'll work completely fine, it's just not as nice to use and it will wear more quickly. However, if you're going to use your truck bed a lot and maybe want something that looks a little bit nicer, I think it's totally worth it to spend the extra money to get something a little bit more premium like this MX4. So that's basically my suggestion. Think about how you're going to use your truck and go from there. Yes, it's really nice to save money on truck parts because it does add up. It gets really expensive. However, for the right use case, tonneau covers like this backflip I have behind me on this white Tacoma are really worth it in my opinion. I know there are hundreds and probably even thousands of truck bed covers for the Toyota Tacomas. There are ones that roll back. I've even seen remote controlled power ones where you press a button and it'll actually retract for you. But I just hope by showing you guys two tonneau covers that in principle have the exact same functionality but differ a lot in terms of price, features, materials. It gives you a better idea of what you can expect when you spend less or when you spend more on a tonneau cover. That is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. If you want to connect more with me, you can follow me on my Instagram. It is at ChloeKuoTaco. I post more in real time on there. Thanks again for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.